Hey guys, it's Eric.
It's Tim.
We are D&E Miniature and Board Games. Tonight, after playing Walking Dead All-Out War, we're going to go ahead and do our normal review. Now remember, we judge everything on a 1 to 5 scale. 3 means it's average. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just average. 5, it's outstanding. 1, it's a pile of cow dung. So, Tim always starts out artwork and graphics.
It is based on the comic. The artwork is. So I couldn't give it anything less than a 5. Kirkman did a great job with the comic. All the gents that draw those things up do a really great job. Mantic must have paid through the nose to get those rights, but the fact that they did makes this so much easier on their point, because all they have to do is pick and choose what they want to use from the unlimited resources provided to them at that point. 5 across the board.
I gave it a 4. I was thoroughly impressed with the artwork. It had the comic-y feel. I wasn't uber just giddily excited about it, but I didn't have it average either. I just went with a 4 on it. Nothing bad. Nothing just didn't jump up and kick me in the head though. So I gave it a 4.
I did though, because I won.
Yeah, you won. Rule book. I gave the rule book a 3. It's laid out nice. It had the quick start. I just felt that some of the stuff, it just took too long to find it if you had to find it real quick.
I mean, I think the rule book does what it's supposed to do. Nothing fancy, nothing over the top, nothing horrid. It doesn't leave things out. So, average, it does what a rule book's supposed to do.
3.
3. Oh, sorry. Average. 3. Average.
Alright.
Just a 3.
So let's get into the one that we always have the most debate on.
Which is average.
Components. Components. I gave it a 4. I really like the components. I think that the cardstock on the figures could have been maybe a little thicker. I think that when I opened it up, I bent up one of my cards really fast.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened to it. Now, but let's get into the figures. I love the zombie figures, the Walker figures. The Walker figures, I do. I love them. I love the fact that you could just take these out and paint them and didn't have to put a bunch of stuff together. The one thing I didn't like was that it seemed like the Survivor figures, for the most part, were too, shall we say, fat. And some of their heads were seemed like they were a little too big. But also when painting them, the hair didn't have a lot of detail on most of the males. So like my wife said when I got done painting one, it looked like I had a Ken doll sitting in front of me. But it's not necessarily bad. I mean, they're, 28 millimeter figures. They're based on the comics. I do like them. It was just I couldn't give them top marks because of those few little things, because if you've noticed through the playthrough, and if you can see what's sitting in front of us, I've actually already painted, for the most part, almost everything except for about half the walkers. Mm-hmm. I wanted to get to the cars today, but honestly, I was just lazy. Tim?
I gave it a 4 too, but I will disagree though on the cards. I think the cards are great. I like how they're finished. They're fairly rigid. they've got the kind of a playing card kind of a texturing and coating. My biggest drawbacks and the reason why this can't get a 4, get a 5 is I'm not a fan of the papered playing surface. To me, this lends to, even if you don't, shift it, tug on it or anything like that, paper, when it's creased and it's folded, over time, the more you open it and close it, open it, close it, open it, close it wears. That's a drawback to me. I didn't like the color of the plastic for the survivors either. It gives everybody a orange kind of tone. And
what are you talking about?
Everybody looks like they've got just the most wicked tan.
That's the color paint I used, not the color they came in.
They've got a tan though to them.
No.
The survivors had were a brownish.
Yeah, that was the base color I used on them.
Oh, well, this is your fault.
Yes, it's my fault.
So still, and like the papered playing surface, and I agree on the figures, the detailish things of it. Some of them are really detailed,
and then others aren't.
Others are not.
Or like in Abraham's case, they did really good with his muscle tone and gave him a Ken doll head.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, the hair is definitely not part of it. I think the only reason, like you were mentioning with the fat heads, was because of the individual characters that we have that we know from the show or the comics. So that way you can give them the special, Abraham with the handlebar mustache.
Now, one thing I do have to defend Mantic on. Okay, the paper mat is just something they gave us to play on. You don't actually have to use it. But they also offered the neoprene, the rubber mat ones. Mm-hmm. You could get 3 of them for like $50. I think I actually have got one coming in my Kickstarter anyways for the second wave. But I looked at it as this. Number one, I really didn't have the $50 that I wanted to spend on 3 neoprene mats at the time. But number 2, I was worried about if I was going to play it enough to even worry about it. After playing it now, yeah, I'm going to play it enough to worry about it. But, it's not something that I have to use. And I knew that. Replayability, I put it a 5. Especially, what's going to hurt that at the start is the fact that you have to use different factions, and Rick's faction is really large compared to the scavenger
it's dominant,
faction.
Yeah,
so you don't have a lot of characters to choose from if you're not playing on Rick's faction. But also, with the Kickstarter stuff coming out, you're going to get more of the other factions. So I'm not really too worried about that. You've got a slew of characters. You've got the event cards, which I think we're getting more. The event cards, the supply cards. It all adds into it, and it's a miniature game. So miniature games tend to have a lot of replayability because it depends on who you're playing against, what characters you pick, and the dice rolls all the time.
I think the biggest thing that goes to replayability on this is because it's a miniature game, you have scenarios that you can go with, but this screams easy individual make your own game.
Well, in a sense with this one, I used a scenario from the Quick Start, but we used different characters. Mm-hmm. We didn't use the characters that they suggested.
Right.
And was basically because I didn't have them painted up anyway.
That's what I'm saying though, is that this has a lot of different scenarios that you can dream them up or you can use what they've got. And there's always going to be something, to change it. You can play the same scenario over and over again, but the event cards add something to it. Your dice roll adds something to it. That freaking threat level, you know, it can screw you over.
Oh God.
You know, there's a lot of potential. So I gave it a 5.
Now fun. I gave it a 5 and fun. I enjoyed playing. We had to search through the rule books for a few things because obviously, you know, it's the first time we played.
And it's a miniature game.
Yeah. And there are some things, you know, we probably got wrong. It's us.
What?
But I still gave it a 5 because I had a blast playing it. And you know, right there at the end, if my character hadn't kept running away because we were in that level, I would have shot Abraham to death. He would have died. I would have won. But because my guy just was, you know, hey, face it, it's Shane. I mean, what do you expect from the man? He only kills things because he is a coward. What did you have for fun, then?
I gave it a 5. Half of it is the fact that I'm a huge fan of The Walking Dead. The other half of it is I've become somewhat more comfortable with miniature games. When Eric told me that it was going to be a miniature game versus, you know, a board game, I was like, well, that's it. I'm done. Can't play it. Don't want to play it. After sitting down, getting accustomed to it, it grows on you.
Well, you know, also I think the one thing Mantic did with this, with the quick start, you're able to start out slow and add things to it. Now, we jumped past the first 2, but we still stayed kind of in the quick start, and we used the rule book a little bit for some of the things that we weren't really positive on. But it's a relatively easy game even if you're not used to regular miniatures, even right down to the dice rolls. Yeah. You're not adding any factors in. It's simple. You either beat the score or don't beat the score. Well, the bullet shots. But anyways, guys, overall, we gave this a 4.3. Gives it an above average score. We enjoyed it. I think that Don and I are planning on trying to demo this at Discover Games on Saturday for their grand opening, which is this Saturday. What is that? What is today? 16th? So that makes 18th? Yep. Saturday the 18th, 19th.
19.
You know what? The Saturday before Thanksgiving 2016, okay, guys? But anyways, if you like what you saw, I believe it's coming out for retail the end of November, start of December, somewhere in there. Maybe it's January. And don't think because you didn't get the Kickstarter, you can't get the special stuff. I did just read that because they have so many Kickstarter editions extra that they are going to sell some of those on retail. And there are going to be things that just go to retail that we didn't get with Kickstarter.
Mantic Games, Walking Dead, All Out War. It's a freaking good game. So good job, Mantic. Thank you, Kirkman, Image Comics. You know, everybody that was involved in letting these guys make this game. They definitely did the
Franchise proud.
Yeah, they definitely did the franchise proud.
They honored it quite well.
Yeah, really, really well.
Those walkers came out of everywhere. But anyways, guys, 4.3. Support your local gaming. Discover Games is where we are. Fayetteville, Georgia. Across from the pavilion next to Harbor Freight.
Not Harbor Freight Games.
Just Harbor Freight, guys. As always, guys, game on.
Game on, folks.